Experience Cyclone Filter Cleaner, the smarter, faster way to clean your pool filter. Tired of slow and messy filter cleaning that leaves your back hurting? Cyclone Filter Cleaner changes that. Now you can clean 4 filters in 15 minutes. Designed by pool pros, its spinning action reaches deep into every pleat without you bending over. Just connect your hose, slide the filter on, and watch the magic happen. Clean smarter, faster, and easier with Cyclone Filter Cleaner.
Hey Pool Pros, tired of roasting under the sun and gear that doesn't hold up? Revved Up Apparel has your back with SPF protected apparel made for the Pool Pro. Want to stand out from the competition? Done. No minimum orders, no inventory stress. We handle the design, hosting, printing, and fulfillment, so you can focus on the grind. Whether you're a single poler or managing a whole fleet, this is how you gear up smart and stay sharp. Check out RevvedUpApparel.com. Built for the Pool Pro. Designed for the proud.
Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
This episode is brought to you by Skimmer. Trusted by over 30,000 pool service pros across North America, Skimmer software helps you save time, grow revenue, and boost your 5-star reviews. Whether you're just starting out or owning the market, Skimmer's easy-to-use tools and expert support have you covered. Upgrade your business in 2025 with Skimmer. Visit getskimmer.com/tip of the day to try Skimmer for free for 30 days.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride, and listen to the big homie Pete the Pool Guy. Dropping game, keep it real, put the knowledge on deck. From backyard pools to collecting them checks. Ain't no gimmicks, no stress, just some free flow talk. Breaking bread, building up, gotta walk that walk. From the chlorine to the hustle, every move got a plan. If you work it the right way, you can level up, man. Pool Foo Podcast, let's vibe. Game so deep, let's ride. From the valley to the masses, we know. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. Pool Foo Podcast, let's vibe. Game so deep, let's ride. From the valley to the masses, we know. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pool Foo Podcast. I'm your host, Pete the Pool Guy. Today, I got a solid guest on the show. That's Jason from Performance Pool Care out of Texas. This guy runs a clean operation, real attention to detail, high standards, and a no-nonsense approach to taking care of his clients. If you've seen his page, you know what I'm talking about. Everything from system upgrades, labeling, any education, all that good stuff. Jason, welcome to the show, bro. Glad to have you here.
Howdy from the Lone Star State. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, Jason, man. It's awesome to actually finally get to meet you. We've had an Instagram relationship, but we never had the privilege to actually talk to you.
Hey, man, it's an honor to be here. Like, seeing all your guests before me, like, to me in my little infancy of a pool company, to be invited here, he goes, it's an honor. It really is.
I appreciate that. You know what? I feel that this show, I created this podcast because I wanted, and I've said it before, I want to shine the spotlight on all pool guys, beginners, experts, everything, because I think that everybody has a story and everybody's story is relatable to somebody else.
For sure.
So yeah. Let's take it back real quick. How did you even get started into the pool industry, bro? What made you get into it?
So, if you looked at my resume right now, my work history looks kind of like a snowflake. I've been in just about every industry that there is for 2 or 3 years at a time. So my start in the pool industry started right around COVID. I was working for a big a big rigging crating company here in town, and I was their tooling manager, and I basically was in charge of getting stuff ready to go out and do jobs. Guys drove around in semi trucks and did move stuff around big environments, stuff like that. I didn't really enjoy what I was doing. So I had a friend that's a plumber, and he called me and he said, hey, would you like to go build swimming pools? There's a company that's looking for project managers, and I think you'd be a good fit. And so he got me an interview. I BS my way through the interview, reading pool plans and construction and stuff like that. And I got a job. They hired me. And anybody that built anything during COVID can tell you how really hard it was just to get things accomplished between sickness and the fact that the prices were so out of control. But I did not know what I was walking into. And I walked into building swimming pools, and it was literally like taking a bath in fire. It was a really hard transition from what I'd been doing to what I was currently doing. But at the same time, I got to have a real appreciation for people's backyards. And I got to see the need for something like my company to exist, like a higher end pool service, a guy that does a better job, charges a little bit more money, but at the same time, you can reach out anytime you want to. And that was when I first saw the need for something like me, because I saw the handoff transition when you go from the startup company of a new construction to the service company. That handoff exchange is always not very smooth. So that just kind of started things in my head. I wasn't ready to be a service guy or start a pool company at that point, but I worked there for about a year and a half, and I kind of learned just the construction side of things. And then I decided I kind of wanted to get out of construction, and I went and started working for a local service company here in town that they needed a quality control manager. They needed somebody to come in and kind of run around, train the guys up, deal with green pools, stuff like that. But I was honestly really green myself. I never tested water before. I grew up with a swimming pool in my backyard. My parents had a pool, but I wasn't the one that maintained it. I didn't know much about it. So I remember my first day on the job, my boss handed me a Taylor test kit and a bunch of crappy pool tools. And he goes, all right, this is where you're going, and you're going to do this. And I said, okay, what do I do with this test kit? He goes, it's got instructions inside of it. You're a smart guy. You'll figure it out. And so that's just kind of how it started. And so
you got thrown into the fire.
Yeah, but that's honestly the pool industry as a whole. Like a lot of these guys that I see that are newer in the industry, like newer cleaners and stuff, they weren't properly trained and educated. They got a really loose kind of work instructions at certain times of the year, but until you've done a whole year in the pool industry and dealt with, the seasonal changes and having to add certain chemicals in the spring because they got diluted in the winter and stuff like that, your first year is really, really hard. And it was not any easier for me just coming in as a managerial quality control guy, but I did a lot of research, like you said, a lot of YouTube, a lot of Instagram, and just kind of figure out how to do my job and how to do it better. And so I was there for year and a half, 2 years. No, I was there right about a year. And I remember one morning, called one of the owners, and we were having a conversation. And I said, hey man, I've been here a year. Can I get a review? And he's like, what would you want a review for? And I said, like a performance review, give me a little extra money, help me pay for my truck, cell phone, something like that. And without even missing a beat, he goes, you're not worth what I'm paying you now. Why the F would you even ask me something like that? And this is like 7:00 in the morning on my way to work, going to go do my job. And I want to turn the truck around and go home. It was my truck. I was using their gas card, but that was not very motivational. And that's what started the idea that I needed to do something on my own, that working for somebody just wasn't going to work anymore. So I think that was June of 23. And I actually formed Performance Pool Care in October of 23. I filed it with state of Texas and with the IRS, and I became Performance Pool Care in October of 23. And I started, building customers on the side, referrals, people that knew who I was, what I did. I went and did their pools for them. And I did that for about, I did probably about 6 months or so. And I had about 15 customers that I would do Saturdays and off times and stuff like that. And it was getting to the point where it was getting kind of hard to balance both of my lives, because I was essentially Batman to my current employer. Like, they didn't know who I was or what I was doing when I wasn't doing their quality control. But then everything came to a head in February of 24. There was a big AT&T cell phone outage, and they couldn't get a hold of me on my work phone that they had given me. So they called my personal phone, which also didn't work, but they heard the voicemail that, hi, this is Jason Lampion, owner of Performance Pool Care. And so I got an email that said, you own a pool company, and all exclamation points. And I was like, oh man, the jig is up. time to get in the bed I made for myself. And so I basically put in a 2-week notice, and then I was on my own after that. I had 15 customers. I had a little bit of money in the bank, and I had, a lot of worry, a lot of doubt in my heart, but I wasn't willing to give up. And I've worked really hard for the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, just to grow my company to what it is and to get the customers that I have now.
How long you been in business, Jason?
It'll be 2 years, October of this year. 2 years, October of this year, the business has been open.
Nice.
And I've essentially been, running it, blowing and going ever since. I do a lot of startups for this one builder here in town. And that's where I've got a lot of my customer base from. So basically I get a brand new pool that's free of problems, that's free of any kind of bad chemistry from anybody. And I get to just take over from day one. And it's really, really nice. I get to build that relationship with the customers. And 99% of them don't ever leave. The ones that do leave, they're boomerangs. They're going to come back because I'm not going to let anybody do it the way that I do it or do it better than I do it at this point where the business is in its size right now. I'm at like 60 customers, and I'm just doing all I can for those 60 people.
Are you cleaning pools by yourself?
Yes, sir. I'm
Okay.
doing everything by myself. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Now, the company name, Performance Pool Care, it stands out. Where did that come from, and what does performance mean to you when it comes to pool service?
So performance to me means that I want to do everything a little bit better. Like I've been into cars and race cars my whole life. I'm always trying to look at ways the manufacturer that built the car didn't engineer it correctly. How can I get another 50 horsepower out without shooting a hole through the side of the block? And that's essentially what Performance Pool Care came from. It came from a stance of everybody can do pools, but I want to do it. I'm going to do it better. I mean, I did that video where I run my Riptide on a lithium battery to spin it at a higher RPM. I mean, I'll do anything I can to make anything better. Like if you have an IC20 that wears out and you have an 18,000 gallon pool, I'm going to put an IC40 on there. I'm not going to put another IC20 on there because it's just, you can do certain things when you maintain somebody's pool and you can just hamstring the pool for the rest of its existence. Or you can look at it and go, oh, okay, this wasn't designed right when it was built. Let's change it and do it this way. Let's put a bigger filter on there. Let's put a bigger pump on there. And that's kind of where Performance Pool Care came from.
Now let's go back a little bit. When you started your business, you said after you left your other job, you started working for a builder, right? Somebody that made pools.
Yes, I was a project manager for a construction company that built new backyard projects. Yes,
Brand new. Okay, so what were you doing for them?
I was a project manager. So basically, I had 35 holes in people's backyards that I was in charge of getting established and built and moved forward and collecting all these thousands of dollars from very angry customers at that time.
How'd you make the jump from that to actually cleaning the pools within the company?
Well, it wasn't with the same company. I basically left construction just because the stress of doing that job, it just kind of builds and builds. And it got to the point where I was leaving my house at 6 o'clock every morning. I was getting home after dark. I wasn't sleeping very well. I was getting harassed by customers all day long. And it wasn't worth what I was making. I was the lightning rod for the company that I worked for, because I was the guy out there in the field that was doing all these things in people's backyards. And so when I left them, there was a guy that he was my tile and stone guy there. And I was talking to him and he said, hey, I know these two guys that have their own pool company. Sorry, I have a dog here squeaking a toy.
No, it's okay.
And he's like, well, maybe you'd be a good fit over there. He's like, they're looking for somebody to kind of help them out. And I was like, it's not really what I want to do. And so I talked to the guys. We had an interview at like Starbucks, and I liked one of the guys, and the other guy that I didn't really care much for, he was the guy that told me I wasn't worth what I was paid in the first place. So I really liked one of the guys though, and it seemed like a good fit. But just like every time you go to work for somebody, the picture that they paint is not always what it is. Like it's just like everybody posting everything on Facebook that they're this happy family and stuff. I mean, everybody's going to sugarcoat the reality of what the job is. And when you get in there first few days, you're just like, oh man, I thought I was going to walk into a freezer. This is a frying pan. This is a bad place.
Yeah. I like that. I like that you said that because on the podcast, that's kind of what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the real stuff that goes down, what it comes down to either establishing a business, working for a pool company, or just being out in the field. So I want to get like the real story behind it. So I appreciate that. So you went and interviewed with this guy, started cleaning pools with him, doing startups or just cleaning?
So I was just a quality control manager. I drove around. They had probably 300 accounts at that point, 8 guys that worked for them. And I just drove around and I would deliver buckets of shock if the guys ran out of shock. But mainly I was doing all the problems that we had. And that company, most of their pools were in like the University Park, Lakewood area of Dallas. And to anybody that lives in this area, you know that it's pretty much a fern gully down there. Every pool is shaded by 60, 70-year-old oak tree. And it's a really hard place to be in the fall and the spring. And when you've got 6 guys and only 2 of them got rip ties, the other guys are using Leaf Masters. It's like, I don't know what you're expected to do here. And so,
right.
The Riptide was honestly a game changer when I bought that thing, because I started with a Leaf Master, and after shattering probably the second one on somebody's pool deck, trying to run it off a water hose, I was done. I had to have some kind of power vac at that point.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then you were doing pretty much quality control when it came down to those pools, huh? Just maintaining them, just trying to keep them alive.
Well, you keep them alive, but at the same time, I was also, there was me and there was 2 other guys. There was our lead repair technician, and then there was another guy that basically ran the office phone. And me and him kind of did the quality control, and we shared the customer fire calls and stuff like that. But the days, it starts off as a really good place to work, and then really soon you're just pretty much running 12 hours a day because you're paid a salary to do so. And
right, it's a job.
Well, yeah, but like that part of town it's really weird. Like there's a lot of old money down there in Highland Park, and I remember one time it was down there, and I was walking around a castle with a water hose and a backpack of tools, looking for somewhere to plug this hose into so I can clean this filter. And this family got home, and this wife and her kids get out, and I said, "Hey, man, where would I find a hose bib or like a spigot on the side of your house?" And the mom looks at the kid and she goes, "We don't talk to the help." And I was like, no, I'm not the help. I'm here to clean your pool filter because your pool's green. And she goes, "Yeah, you're the help." And she turned around and walked inside. And so then I just kept, walking around the house. And I finally found the hose bib that obviously was not ever used by anybody at that house.
For reals. That's wild. That's crazy. So after working for that company, and then they found out that you had your own pool company, you started your adventure at cleaning pools on your own.
Yes.
How was that for you? Was that scary, intimidating, being on your own? Like, how did you approach that?
It was, it's probably the scariest thing I've ever done in my life, to be honest with you, because everybody's got a little bit of money in the bank as kind of like a fallback or a nest egg. But when you have 15 customers at $200 a piece, you're bringing in $3,000 a month before you pay yourself, chemicals, gas. That is a stressful existence to live under. And I just knew, I basically gave myself 6 months. And if I didn't get to 35 customers, I was going to go look for another job again. But at the same time, after running around by myself for a month and a half, making no money, just doing what I want to do every day, I'm not sure I'm ever going to be able to go back and work for somebody. It's just awesome. That's freedom.
That's what you like the most, is the freedom?
Yeah. I like being able to just do what I want to do when I want to do it, and just, I don't know, just not have to put up with the bad customers that I always had to put up with at every other job I've ever had.
Yeah, a lot of people a lot of people have the idea that starting up a pool business, it's easy, that it's a walk in the park, and they don't realize that also it's expensive, to have to buy all the tools, have to buy all the equipment, everything that you need to be able to get there, especially if you don't have a truck. That's a big one. So you said you had some money stashed away to be able to start your business. Is that what helped you out a lot?
Yes. Let's see. I think back around the time I was building pools, I refinanced my house and pulled a bunch of money out of it. So I had money sitting there that I'd planned on, paying off vehicle notes and things like that with, and I just chose to sit on it at the same time. And I put $5,000 in a business account, and I called that Performance Pool Care's operating budget. And it got really, really low a couple points during the first few months, but I never ran out of money. it's doing good now.
Now,
But
did you start the
in all-
business? Go ahead.
Okay, so I was going to say, in all honesty, if I wouldn't have had like the support of people around me, like my sister, she is at LD Lampy on Instagram. She did my website and she did my initial posting on Instagram and Facebook. She did all my, she essentially showed me how to post on social media, because before I started PPC, I didn't have a social media presence. I might have been on Instagram, but I didn't do anything on Instagram. And she showed me how to be a business social media presence, and she made me a really professional looking website, and it's really helped send people my way. Like, I don't have a lot of Google reviews. I don't think any of my customers watch me on Instagram, but it gets me out there. It gives me the optics to be able to be into people's, living rooms and phones and things like that.
Now, did you start your business organically, your client list, or did you buy a route?
I never bought a route. I've always just done things by referral. A lot of my customers are the people I started up the pool for initially. I would say half of my 60 are the startups that I did for this one builder here in town over the past probably 2 years I've had my business.
So what really helped you out was to get connected with the builder.
Yes, essentially. Like, you need somebody. Everybody needs somebody. Like, when I reached out to you that day that I had, the first time I ever reached out, I messaged you on Instagram. I said, Pete, I had a guy that got oil stain from fence all in my pool. What do I do about it? And you said, you need to put some enzymes. You need to put some absorbic sponges in the skimmers. And dude, that was spot on advice. That got the pool cleared up. Customer was happy. And that was honestly a customer that I picked up as a startup. And that was just, I mean, it's crushing to show up on day 4 of your startup and the pool looks like, the Exxon Valdez crashed into it. There's an oil slick across the surface of it. And the guy's like, oh yeah, the kids got out and they're all greasy and slipping on the deck. And it's like,
you're like, how do I handle this?
it's hard, man. It's just, when you do startups, you never know what you're getting into. When you clean pools,
a lot of problem solving.
It is. There's a lot of liability. There's a lot of risk. There's a lot of just, this isn't my job. This is your job. And like, there's a lot of people that will tell me, oh, you can't do it like that. You can't do a 10-day or a 7-day plaster startup. And I agree. You should do a 28-day startup like the NPC says. But at the same time, I'm not doing anything to mess up the plaster itself. I'm doing everything balanced. I'm keeping everything. I don't know. There's a lot of people have a lot of opinions on the internet, and a lot of them aren't really founded in anything.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Everybody's going to have opinion on how you should do things, especially if you're posting stuff online. I've run across that plenty of times. You do a installation or you're plumbing and they don't like the way you plumbed it or the way it looks or anything. They like to pick on certain things, but you just got to be able to, take the positive,
roll with the punches.
Yeah. Definitely. Now, out there in Texas, you guys deal with humidity instead of the heat that we deal with out here. We deal with dry heat all day long, just bashing you over the head. You guys are sweating as soon as you don't even come out the house and you're already sweating, I bet.
Humidity is rough because your body can't cool off. Like your sweat response is made to cool your body off when it's dry and hot outside. But when it's humid, like you said, you're already soaking wet as soon as you walk outside. Like, your clothes just cling to you, and it's just it's nasty.
So what's
your part of living in North Texas?
Yeah. Well, so what's your approach? I mean, you're having to be outside and deal with that. Like, how does that also affect your chemistry, the humidity, and does it affect your chemistry?
The humidity doesn't affect the chemistry as much, but it does create more evaporation than you would think, because there are a lot of people that are like, oh, it's not that hot, and why is my pool, I think my pool's losing water. And it's like, no, just because it's only 95, there's like 70% humidity, so it's more like 105. So your water's going somewhere. But in my opinion, I don't think it affects the chemistry as much as it affects the evaporation and the way that people see their pools holding water.
So you're big on teaching your clients about, or educating your clients about, the chemistry and their pools, correct?
For sure. Yeah. Knowledge is power. There's a lot of pool companies that, they want to do the cloak and dagger things about, I'm not going to give you your readings. I'm not going to tell you what I added. But when you're trying to tell people, hey, you blew my chemistry budget out of the water last month, I'm going to charge you more. You've got to be able to come to the table with facts. And I've got another buddy, Jason Bonner, who is at Greed Paintball. He maintains my customer database for me, and he runs like an algorithm based on parameters that I provide. And that's how I determine how to charge my customers.
Oh, explain that to me.
So basically, it's what he built for me is a web-based platform that's kind of like a skimmer or a pool track, some kind of that. And that's how I input people's chemistry readings. And that's how I do my day-to-day trips. But at the same time, I can take those same parameters and say, okay, this pool, I'm going to give it 5 pounds of shock, 4 tabs, and a gallon of acid a month. I'm going to put a flag on it if it comes up. And this I can basically tell it who my biggest losers are in my company, even though I'm the only one that cleans them. I know, but at the same time, I have physical proof now that I can email to somebody and say, no, this is what you cost me last month. I don't care. I know you said that your kids didn't have a swim party, but I'm just telling you, there's no way you went through that much chlorine last month. So I can send you a spreadsheet. I can send you chemical readings. It's not as clean and professional as Skimmer does it with the pictures and everything, but I have my physical proof at this point of what I did to your pool, what I added, and this is my justification for raising your rate this month.
So do you charge your clients monthly? Their monthly includes chemicals, or it does not include chemicals?
Yes. Right now, my monthly includes chemicals. After your last podcast with Zach, the pineapple pool boy, I was debating. I was like, man, maybe I should bill for chemicals.
He got me thinking
dude,
too.
He probably made all of us question our business model at that point, going, man, we're not making enough money. But no, honestly, like it should be fair for both parties. And I just think it's easier to bill at the same month, because if people don't know what's coming the following month without a conversation, like if your chemical bill fluctuated 40, 50, 60 bucks every month, that messes up a lot of people's household budgets around here, especially in the summer with families. So I like to keep everything straightforward unless we have a conversation about it, and then your rate's going up.
Right. So right now you're including chemicals. So how I'm going to ask the question that he asked me. How do you calculate to know how many chemicals you're going to be spending, so know how much to charge that client per month?
Well, like I said, because the majority of my pools are brand new, I know the plumbing's tight. I have no leakers. The majority of my customers are families, though. So just doing my year and a half of quality control, I understand how much chemicals I can put in a pool and maintain it for a month at a decent swim level. But if you're using the spa 3 hours a day and you're swimming 8 hours a day, I can't show up once a week and put enough chlorine in that thing that you can't use it up in this Texas heat. And that's kind of what's hard to explain to people. It's like, well, you don't have a salt pool. I can't fill your tab feeder up and just let it eat. It's not going to work that way. Your CYA is going to be over 100, and your heater's going to start puking rust, and I'm going to get blamed for it. But there's a lot of people that don't really understand, and that's why you have to educate them. You're like, look, your neighbor next door, like, their pool's bigger than yours. This is their chemical that I use, and their pool looks better than yours because they don't use it nearly as often. And it's like Zach said, you can't make the single lady on the street pay the chemical bill for the family down the street that swims every day. And when he said it like that just put it into perspective.
That's true. So what would be your average monthly rate out there in Texas for yourself?
I'm on like $220 on like a 10 to 15,000 gallon pool.
Okay. And that's once a week or twice a week visit?
That's once a week. Dude, Texas, it's like everybody wants to one up their buddy. Like, oh man, you got a pool, it's 12,000 gallons. I'm going to make mine 24,000 gallons. And I've got like on Wednesday, I call Wednesday Monsters Row, because I got 4 pools that are all over 40,000 gallons. And those pools are a lot to take care of. They go very volatile very quickly. And, but at the same time, they're also like really good post porn for Instagram. Like my 50,000 gallon pool with the grotto and the slide, like that is social media fuel. It's just
how long does it take you to clean a pool?
Okay, so in the majority of my neighborhoods, they are AstroTurf backyards. There's no mature trees. It takes 10 to 15 minutes for a stop. You don't have to do a lot of riptide into these pools. They've all got Polarises or robots. They're all brand new and efficient. Here in the next, 2 months, I've got a handful of them that I might have to spend an hour there every week. And then me and the customers are going to have a conversation about either you need to help me by empty the Polaris and the skimmers every day, or I need to come twice a week. I need to charge you more, or I need to charge you a leaf fee because I'm staying there so long. But it's just like, you got to communicate with people. You got to have a conversation. You can't just charge people willy nilly, But at the same time,
Do you charge the client more when it's a windy day?
no, not necessarily. But if it's something that's with the windy day, it's something that's beyond your control. But like if I get there and the landscaper is like blowing the deck off into the pool, I'm gonna take a video of that and I'm gonna send it, and I'm probably gonna charge for that. And hopefully it gets back on that landscaper and he gets that bill instead. But the pool pro versus landscaper, that's a never ending feud. I hate to say it.
I like to have I like to meet the gardeners. I try to be there when they're there to try to establish a relationship with them and at least have a conversation with them and letting them know, listen, I'm not putting the debris from the baskets and from the skimmer basket and the pump basket and the leaves that I get in the pool. I'm not putting it in the landscaping. So please do me a favor whenever you clean your mess. If some of your mess fell into the pool, it's just like the grass or the dirt or the sands or the rocks, you're still going to clean it up. So why not clean it up? I'm a big, strong believer that gardeners should carry a pole and a net with them. They should.
Mm-hmm. Well, almost every customer has one. And so when I was a quality control manager at this other company, I'm an Aries. My zodiacal sign is an Aries. I go to war over anything I feel like is justified. So I was doing a quality control visit on a pool. I'm netting stuff out of it. And there's a landscaper on the other side of the fence that's blowing their leaves out of this yard, and they're coming up over the fence into my pool. And I'm watching him do it. And I climbed the fence. I said, hey, you don't do that. And he looked at me and he starts blowing leaves in my face. So then I start netting these leaves out of the pool, and I start launching them over the fence at him with the customer's skimmer net. And so then I grab those skimmer baskets and I throw those over the fence at him. And so then him and his boss come into my backyard and we have a discussion about why I'm throwing stuff at this guy. And then, there was a little bit of a language barrier there, but at the same time, I was just as big of a jerk to that guy as he was to me. And we both wore wet leaves that day. But I don't know. We both got our point across to each other. Don't blow stuff into my customer's backyard.
You both got your point across. You both learned. Nobody took the high road that time.
No.
Not gonna happen. It happens. That war between gardeners and pool guys, man. It there.
Happens all the time.
It's there.
Like I tell the customers, a lawn guy, they're a dime a dozen. I'm not. So if you want to lose me, by all means, have that guy show up right after I leave and then call me to come back and skim the pool again. By all means.
Yeah. You said performance. You focus on performance. You focus on bringing quality to your clients, and you charge a little bit more because of it. What made you take that approach compared to just getting the pool clean, moving on, and giving them a lower price?
That when you give people a lower price, you kind of basically just give them a number. They don't really have any personality. They're just stop number 4 on Wednesday. And I saw that when I was a quality control manager at that pool company. Once the guys have been going in the backyard for 1 or 2 years, they might do a good job before the 4th of July under threat of getting fired. But other than that, people just kind of slough off what they consider a good job. And I'm probably a little bit OCD, honestly, but at the same time, I don't want to swim with dirt on the bottom of the pool. I don't want to swim with algae on the walls of the pool. There's all this stuff that I just don't care for. And so in my opinion, I think it's worth me doing a little bit extra work and carrying a souped up riptide in everybody's backyard to make sure the pool looks as good as it can.
But you only take approximately about 15 minutes per pool. That's a big pool for 15 minutes. I'd be thinking.
Well, no. So the big pools are more like 30, 45. Like
gotcha.
the 10 to 15,000 gallon pools, your average play pools that we have around here. Yeah. 10 to 15 minutes to do baskets, chemistry, net it, vacuum it if it's needed.
Okay. What makes you stand out from another pool guy?
Dude, here's what's crazy. The biggest thing that I hear from people when they call and ask about my service, and they'll say, does your guy carry a brush on the truck? Will he brush my pool? And I'll just sit there and I'll sit there and not say anything, because when you're doing a sales conversation, he who talks first loses. So I'll just sit there and I'll just quietly just sit there, and they'll go, "Did you hear me? I was asking if he carries a brush." And I said, "Yeah, I heard you. I was just making sure I heard what I heard." You mean that your pool guy maintains your pool and doesn't brush it? And they'll go, yeah, but your guy, he has a brush, right? Because I got dirt in this one corner, or like, you can make a pool look so good just by brushing it. And there are so many pools that I take over from service just because you can look at a pool, like especially all these Pebble Tech pools we have here in Texas and see dirt sitting on top of the pebble. And all you got to do is go over there and swipe it with your brush, and a big cloud comes shooting off, and the customer's like, "Oh my God, the pool is disgusting. You're hired."
You're hired.
But it's just like,
I
tell the new kids I see at the supply house, said, "You don't have to brush the whole pool." I said, "You just brush the parts you don't want to turn green. That's all you got to do."
Where the water circulates the least. I see it as brushing your teeth, bro. You got to brush your teeth every day. So you got to brush the pool.
You got to cover the pool, man. I mean, especially on pebble, you get dust that sits on the walls and stuff. I mean, you got to brush the pool. I mean, I've honestly seen pools that have no chemicals that somebody just brushes the crap out of and they don't grow algae. But, normally that doesn't fly here in Texas. It's just too hot.
So what's your technique in brushing? How do you approach a pool when it comes down to brushing? Walk me through it.
So pretty much brushing a pool top to bottom. So your flat surfaces, your tanning ledge, your Baja bench. I like to turn. So most of my pools have automation. So I will turn the spa suction on. I'll flip the actuator and pull the spa suction. Brush the bench of the spa. Brush the bottom of the spa. Let it go get sucked all down the drain into the filter. Gucci. Every now and then, you brush it a little bit too long. The spa gets sucked too low, and the customer calls and goes, "Hey, I think it's filling back up, but you left my spa like 6 inches low." And I was like, "Yep, I did you solid on that. Put some fresh water in there for you."
Yeah, there you go.
Because every one of our pools here, most of them have spa fountain lines tied to the pool side. Very few of them are like a split return where basically the spa returns are open and just running the whole time the pool's running. Most of these pools that I deal with have a dedicated spa fountain line to them.
Out here, it's crazy because out here we have hard water. I don't know how the water is where you're at, but right here, it's so hard that you'll get that calcium line. So you have to brush the tile. You have to brush the tile. Even if you don't brush the pool, brush the freaking tile, because that will build up and build up and build up unless you're there brushing it. Now it's a losing battle. We all know that. The calcium's gonna build up. It's gonna happen. Then you're eventually gonna have to be blasted, but how's the water out there with you guys?
So where I live right here in my town, our water is very, very, very hard. In other parts of town, there's a lot of minerals and stuff, a lot of calcium in our water. But this time of year, there's a lot of chlorine in it just because they're trying to keep it from going green. So yeah, we don't have super hard water out here, but there are a lot of dissolved minerals in our water. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So for the listener that's brand new at cleaning pools, walk me through the process of you walking into a backyard and cleaning a pool. What is your process? What do you look at? What do you pay attention to? What's the first thing you're doing? Walk me through the whole process.
So first thing I do, 90% of my pools, walk into the backyard. If it's a small pool, I know the chemistry is going to be what it is every week. I'm going to take my chemicals with me the first trip in. But most time, walk in the backyard, set your stuff down. I'll pull the skimmer baskets under power as long as there's not a bunch of stuff sitting on the towel line. It's going to go down my skimmer pipe. So pull the skimmer baskets under power, go turn the pump off, empty the pump basket, check your chemistry, pull your Polaris out of the water, get all your trash in one spot. And then I'll take a walk around the pool and just kind of look at it. Do I have any algae growing over here? Is there dirt over here? Oh, this one's got this dead corner over here. I'm going to brush this dead corner over here. But I decide what I'm going to do to clean it. I do my chemistry, I check it, and then I add my chemicals and I bounce out, turn the pool back on.
Nice. What about if you show up and the pool's a little bit green or you catch some algae or something like that?
So I'm a big fan of Blu-ray XL, so I don't have any green pools. But every now and then you'll have a pool that will go cloudy, and most often it's tied to either filtration. So you swam too much, your filter's dirty because most of mine are cartridges, or hey, I was looking in your Pentair IntelliTouch there, and it says you're only running the pool 6 hours a day. Oh yeah. The electric bill's too high. Or it's like, hey, the pool's not running. What's going on? Oh, I decided I'm gonna run it at night right now because I get free electricity at night. That's a really good way to get fired.
Yeah,
because it's really hard to deal with a pool that doesn't run in the daytime.
It has to run in the daytime. Yeah, the sun's hitting it. You have to keep that water moving.
You have to. Yeah, it'll get scale, eat up all your chemicals.
You're talking about filters. How often do you clean your filters? How often do you clean the filters? And do you go based on a schedule or do you go based on the pressure gauge?
So I try to clean all of my cartridges every 4 months, like the manufacturer recommends, and I try to do DEs every 6 to 8. Not every DE needs to be cleaned out every 6 months, in my opinion, but the longer you leave a DE alone, the more phosphates and crap build up in the bottom of it, and then it just starts to eat up your chemicals, bottom line. But I mean, sometimes I have customers right now, we don't even make it 4 months in the swim season, on some of the smaller cartridge filters. Like I've got a guy that's got a 15,000 gallon pool with a Jandy 340 on it. And it's like, your builder screwed you there. That's not my fault. So your builder screwed you. You need a bigger filter. We'll just pray this thing explodes this winter. I'll get you a bigger one.
There you go. Do you have more DE cartridge or sand filters?
90% of mine are cartridge. I hate sand filters. I don't ever want to see a sand filter.
Yeah. And what do you use to clean your sand filter? You just hold it down? Do you use a cyclone filter cleaner? What is your approach to cleaning a filter?
I use the Cyclone if I have adequate water pressure. But I'm a pretty tall guy. I'm 6'5". So what I like to do is I'll just stack cartridges like one on top of each other, and I'll just stand there and spray it. Like I don't care if the water sprays off. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't care if the water sprays me. Like I'll wear like was it fishing, not fishing pants, but waders in the winter to do it. So I don't spray my legs and get all wet in the wintertime. But I don't know. I have no problem just sitting there, just letting it go. But at the same time, I'm a pretty efficient filter cleaner. Do I stay clean while I'm doing it? No, but time is money. Hurry up.
Yeah. I always end up dirty. I'm always like, I was in a war or something, man. I get dirt all over me, mud all over me. But
I got a handful of customers where I have to use this little DeWalt electric battery operated pressure washer because they just don't have enough water pressure to be able to clean the cartridges effectively.
Have you ever thought about taking the cartridges home with you?
Yes, but a lot of these people don't even want to stop swimming while you clean the cartridges. So sometimes you put it back together and you just turn the pool back on with no cartridges in the filter. So they can keep swimming. And
that's what I'm saying. Just put because I've done that sometimes where the majority of the time, what I'll do is I'll either clean them right there, obviously, or I'll take them out, close the filter, and then just let it run with no cartridges inside. And I take it home, and then over there I treat them, and then I clean them, and then the next day I'll go put them back in. Have you ever tried that?
I don't charge enough for a filter clean to justify that. So no.
Gotcha. You're like, I got to get them done right there on the spot. Yeah.
Well, I'm just sitting there thinking like, sometimes I'll do 8 or 10 filter cleans. Like I'll just schedule a day of filter cleans. I'll just run around cleaning filters one day. And I could just think about, imagine if you took 40 cartridge filters home in the back of your truck with all the other crap you got. That wouldn't fly.
Yeah. No. See, no, when I do that approach, I'm doing kind of like when I'm doing like, I'm only cleaning one filter a day. I'm only going to clean one filter a day. So then I don't have to worry about like, I'm going to schedule a whole day. Nah, man, every day, even after a long day, I'll go do at least one. So then that's when I'm like, I'm too tired to just do it right here. I'll just bring it home, do it at the house, relax, and then put them back on the next drive. Yeah. But,
makes sense.
Yeah. So let's go to the topic of, being, crystal clear with the client, in regards of how much chemicals you add. Do you deal a lot with clients questioning you in regards of what you're adding? Did you do this? Did you do that? And how do you approach that?
I don't have a lot of people question me because I'm not really cheap with my chlorine scoop. Like I keep plenty of chlorine in people's pools. I'm not going to chance the fact that it's going to be cloudy when I show up next week or smell kind of funny. Even with the Blu-ray mineral pack in the water, like I still use an adequate amount of chlorine. But at the same time, if you have a customer that takes their water sample to Leslie's every time you leave and every time before you get there, and then they want to compare it, those are people that are just going to drain your energy. They're going to drain your caring for everybody else around you. And I don't know. I try to educate customers that, you can question me to an extent, but at some point I'm going to get tired of being questioned. I'm just going to fire you.
Yeah. No, I've had to do the same thing. Actually, I'm dealing with one customer right now where that same situation is like, takes the water to Leslie's. As soon as we're cleaning the pool, he's in the window looking through the mirror to make sure we did everything. He'll come after we're gone. He'll inspect the pool, and I'm like, damn, man, that's crazy. To me, it's interesting. Yeah, I'm glad that we're paying that much attention to the pool and that he's paying that much attention to a pool, but it kind of makes you feel like, okay, why'd you hire me if you don't trust me that I'm going to clean your pool?
It's weird because like everybody these days has cameras. They got doorbell cameras. They got cameras on every corner of the house, and they timestamp you when you go in and out. And 99% of my customers will be like, man, I appreciate, your efficiency and getting out of the backyard, and you're really quick and you're really thorough, but everything really looks good. And the pool, nobody breaks out in rashes and stuff. And then you got the people that are like, okay, well, you came around the house at 10:40 and then you came back around the house at 11:15. I mean, do you really think that you did a good job in a half hour that you were back there? And it's like, how does the pool look? Oh, the pool looks fine. Kids are swimming in it right now. And it's like, so what are we basing this off of? I was just wondering, just wondering how everything's going. You make sure the pool's fine. It's like some people call and like they want you to basically tell on yourself. And then as soon as you throw
a power trip,
I think it really is. It's like a consumer. They want to make sure they're getting their money's worth out of their pool guy. But at the same time, a lot of people they just want to be Karens, I guess, right now. I don't know. There seems to be a lot of people like that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So you basically give them a chance. You give them a couple of chances, and after that, you just fire them.
I mean, you kind of like Zach said, you look at the customer history as a whole. Like you look at kind of how the relationship's been the whole time. Did they pay every month, first of the month on time? Do they pay on the 30th of every month, after the month's done? And you just kind of look at everybody on a case by case basis. Like I don't paint anybody with a broad brush, but at the same time, you can't give me enough money to drain my energy like that every week. I'm sorry.
No, that makes sense. How do you deal with clients that pay late?
I don't do anything right now, but I was talking to my bookkeeper and my tax guy. I think next year I'm going to implement maybe like a 10% late fee on everybody that doesn't pay me by like the 14th of the month. It's always the same handful of people that wait till the end of the month. And I don't know.
Do you think it's like they don't see you as a priority to pay? That's how I see it. I'm like, obviously they're going to pay their house, they're going to pay their car, but the gardener, the pool guy, the maid or whatever, they'll take their sweet time on that. And they don't realize we got to pay our stuff too,
Well, and they're just like, well, he's not going to quit coming, because if he quits coming, then my pool's going to look bad. And then I'm going to make him look bad. And it's like, don't make your neighbor pay for my chlorine bucket this week because you didn't pay me till the end of the month. It's like, come on, dude, be a better person.
So where do you like to keep your chlorine level at?
Every pool is different. Every single pool is different. So I got like a single lady that she's the only one that swims in her pool, about 15,000 gallons. I can keep it at a 2 or a 3 and it's fine.
Yeah, because it's not being used. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I got a pool that's 15,000 gallons and there's six people that swim in it multiple times every day. And you can leave it at a 14 when you leave and you'll come back, it'll be 0. You can have stabilizer of 80. It's all gone. They'll just use it all up. It's like, it's better to dose pools twice a week with shock, I think. And this is a shock market that we're in, but at the same time, people don't want to pay for you to come there twice a week. So they just want you to blast it as hard as you can the first time. And hopefully it makes it. But you got to have these conversations.
But I'm a little confused because you said that you include the price of chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
So are you already calculating that you're going to be adding an additional amount of chlorine into the pool?
Well, so no, based on when I first hit your pool at a price, that's based on what I think my chemical budget and my trip charge, everything is going to be for that month. And then after a couple months of looking at it, I'm just like, oh man, these people swim way more than I thought they were going to, or they use the hot tub way more than I thought they were going to.
So you do a reevaluation on the price?
Yes. Yes. You got to have a conversation with the customer and you got to be like, hey, I know I thought I could be okay right here, but dude, you run your water features 12 hours a day. The pH is always at an 8 and you're just killing them.
Got you. And that's when you show them the numbers. That's where you show them, hey, listen, look at, this is how much I'm spending on chemicals just to show you this is where I'm at. That makes sense. Okay, because I was a little confused because I thought I was like, wait a minute. So is he charging them more for chemicals or is he not?
Yeah. Well, rather than billing in arrears, to me, it's easier just kind of do a pool for a couple months and kind of figure out, okay, is this going to be a winner? Is this going to be a loser? If it's going to be a loser, hey, we need to have a conversation. I can't have you on service like this. After watching the last episode with Zach, I just, like I said, I slept on it that night and I was like, do I start billing in arrears and rock the boat of the whole ship, or do I just keep doing what I'm doing? Because it's working. And I agree that, am I capturing all my money in the summer? No. But am I upsetting a bunch of customers by making their bill rise and fall like the gas prices? No.
You're keeping it steady. And
to me, it seems fair, so I'm okay with it. If it's not fair, we're gonna have a conversation about it.
That's where I'm torn because I'm right there with you. My mindset is right there with you. But then with that conversation with Zach, I was like, man, that makes sense though. And I've had conversations with other pool guys, and a lot of the pool guys charge their rate plus chemicals. Like their thing is. Go ahead.
So I have plenty of friends here in town that have their own small pool business, and I got one buddy that he charges for chemicals, and he'll charge you $20 for a bag of salt because he had to carry it in the backyard and put it in the pool.
Right.
It cost him $7, but he's going to sell it back for $20. And acid's going to be $20 a gallon. And it's just like, dude, how do these people still have scalps?
Dude. It's okay. See, now we're getting into it because there's a lot of pool guys. There's a lot of people out there that are price gouging, and
you can charge whatever you want to charge,
bro. They're killing it though. They're like, I don't have it in me to be able to do something like that. You know, I want to make sure it's fair. I want to make my money, but at the same time, I want to make sure it's fair for the client. And sometimes you hear these stories and it's like, how much are you charging for acid? How much are you charging for that? How much? Oh, it's because of this and this. And I'm like, bro, like, really? Like, I get it. It's a bag of salt, but you mean to tell me you're going to charge him what, $20? He said.
Yeah. Cause he had to go get it and carry it in the backyard.
That's the job, bro.
It's just it. And like I said, I'm not going to tell him he's wrong because his customers pay for it. If it works for him, it works for him.
If it works for him, it works for him. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man. What are some of the challenges that you've come across when it comes down to either doing repairs, dealing with clients, or with pools?
Well, here lately, just doing repairs, it's hard to. Prices were fluctuating real bad early in the spring. So if I quoted a repair, you basically had 5 days to accept that at that price or else. We had a lot of issues out of Pentair salt cells this year with that one builder that I support. I think we had
issues?
We had brand new IC20s that were generating scale and not chlorine. Like I got in a knockdown drag out with one of the Pentair techs and he goes, you don't have the stabilizer high enough. And I said, it's at 80. What do you want it to be? And he goes, it needs to be at 100 and the pool needs to run 18 hours a day and it'll make plenty of chlorine. I'm just like, that's not how any salt cells ever worked in a period of time ever. But yeah, we've had a hard run of Pentair salt cells this year. But like Zach said, the way they do their warranty process now, golly.
You're having a hard time as well with Pentair?
The way their warranty, you got to basically go and turn it in and they send out whoever they want to send out. And if the customer's not home when the guy shows up, they'll just close the ticket so he gets paid. And it's just Pentair this year is not what they were last year. I'll just put it that way.
Gotcha. Which manufacturer do you love working on? Hayward,
Jandy.
Talk to me about that.
So it's Jandy is the system that I sold back when I was building pools for that custom pool builder here in town. So it's what I came to be most familiar with. And to me, it just seems more user friendly. Like the pumps are easier to work on. The filters are not brick shit houses like anybody else said. I've got plenty of bad Jandy filters out there, but I just think they make a really good product right now across the board. Everything that they offer is a good product, whereas everybody else, they make a good this or they make a good that, but you probably don't want their this or their that. I'm not a Hayward guy. I'm never going to be a Hayward guy.
What's going on with Hayward? Why don't you like Hayward?
Not a fan. Most Hayward equipment pads that I have, those are the pools that have the least amount of maintenance and repairs approved. And Hayward filters, that new metal reinforced ring that they have on the filters, that's sometimes a pain in the rear to get to quit leaking after you do a filter clean. You just kind of get preferential to stuff. Like
no, I get it. I get it.
When I was the quality control manager for that company in Dallas, I want to say we still had 100 stainless DE filters in the field. And you talk about a nightmare. Try getting apart a 40-year-old DE stainless filter that somebody magic lubed last year. Like, I think I launched one over a fence one time. It landed in the bed of my truck, but I couldn't get it apart. And then I had another one where I had to call a guy and we had channel locks and he was jumping up and down on it, trying to get it to go back together. And it's just, man, them stainless things, they'll last till the end of the Armageddon, but they're a pain in the butt to get apart at this point.
Let me ask you a question. Are you a Frankenstein pool equipment kind of guy, or do you like just installing what's already there? If it's already there,
Frankenstein.
Okay.
Yeah, Frankenstein.
It doesn't matter if it's a Pentair this filter and a Hayward pump with a Jandy salt cell.
There are certain there are certain things that are not going to play nice together. Like you can't put a Hayward light with an iOCO link control and be able to get all your colors out of it. But at the same time, I like to swap out different manufacturer stuff with other manufacturer, especially if we're talking Hayward, for anything else I can put in its place. Because I'm not a Hayward fan, and I'll sell you a Flow Pro or a PHP or an SHP Jandy pump before I'm ever going to mess with your Hayward pump.
Here's a question. Aquastar. I got the hat on right now. I just thought about it right now. What do you think of Aquastar? Their pumps? What do you think of their filters? What do you think of their support system? Their warranty?
Aquastar, they're making a really big splash right now. Like I'm seeing a lot of their stuff around the new pools that I'm doing. Like a lot of the valves I'm seeing now are Aquastar valves, not Jandy anymore. But the industry was mainly a Jandy industry for a long time. But I don't have any experience with the filters yet, but I can't wait to try to sell one, because they look really awesome.
I like that their valves have lifetime warranty.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane, bro.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's no lifetime here in Texas because it freezes here in Texas. So at some point,
lifetime is a year.
Yeah, lifetime. When'd you install it?
Last summer.
That's the thing. It's like people get so upset about plastic blowing up after a year, and it's like, it's plastic. What did you expect?
I was telling when I was having the conversation with Zach, out here is more Pentair. So I deal with a lot of Pentair. I deal with the rep from Pentair, and I already have a relationship with them. It's kind of like I've always had that approach of kind of keeping a uniform because I like the aesthetics, the way, whatever. If you have Jandy, then I'm going to put Jandy. If you have Hayward, I'm going to put Hayward, because I just don't want any issues in regards to the communication and the way that things work with each other.
I would say over half my customers are Pentair pads, and they're all 3-year-old Pentair pads. So they're the V3 pump, they're, the 520 cartridge, and I really like them.
Last question, Jason. What piece of advice do you have for the listener?
So there are two kinds of people in this world. There are people that always have somebody they can rely on. They've always got somebody they can call that comes to their rescue. And then there's people like me and you that are people that get that call. And if you're listening to this, just think about it in your real life. How many times do you reach out for help, and how often do you reciprocate and give that help back?
You said you used to not use Instagram or social media at all. Now that you are using it, and you're using it quite a lot, how do you feel?
So really the social media thing is just more like cathartic. It's just a release. It's some way to get some kind of, positive feedback on what you do every day, because in the pool industry, from your customers, no news is good news. Like if you're not hearing about what you did or didn't do or what the pool is looking like now, then everything's hunky dory. So the Instagram and the Facebook, all the things that I post is really just for me to get a little bit of validation back from other pool pros that watch my stuff and either like it or get a kick out of what I made fun of on CapCut app or something like that. Connecting me with you. Like I've got a lot of other people that I can reach out to now and say, hey, I know that we're not in the same pool market, but what would you do in this scenario?
I love that. I love the fact that you're able to connect with a lot of pool guys. That's what I like about social media. Is I always say I don't know it all, and I don't pretend to know it all. But guess what? I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find the answer.
It's so much easier to be friends with a pool pro on Instagram or Facebook because we're not fighting each other for the same customers in the same market. Like, I've got my friends at the supply house that work for other companies that I see every now and then, but we're not stepping on each other's toes. But most of the time, you're not friends with the competition in any industry.
I'm friends with a lot of them, bro. Out here in the desert. I mean, everybody knows it's a small place. Everybody knows about everybody, So the way I see it is kind of like there's plenty of pools to go around. So if you need help with something, or if I need help with something, we try to help each other out. And I agree, though. There's most of the places that's a competition. That's the person that's taking money away from you. That's the person that's taking pools away from you. So obviously you want to stand your ground and do your own thing. But I'm a strong believer of helping each other out. And and that's what I like about social media and Instagram and the groups that are out there. Is for the majority, pool guys want to help each other out, is what I've seen. You do get a lot of pool guys that are negative. All they want to do is prove you wrong. All they want to do is argue, all that good stuff, whatever. But you have the bad with the good, and you just got to learn how to take the good, not pay attention to the bad that's out there.
Well, you got your good days and bad. You can't dwell on the bad ones. Otherwise, you're never going to see the good ones.
There you go, Jason. Thanks so much for being on the podcast, Jason. Anything else you want to talk about before we log off?
Nope, that's it.
You're good?
Do your best out there, folks. Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Do your best. You heard it here first from Jason. Thanks a lot, bro. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Órale.
Thank you.
Pool Foo Podcast. Let's vibe. Game so deep. Let's ride. From the valley to the masses, we know. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow. Pool Foo Podcast. Let's vibe. Game so deep. Let's ride. From the valley to the masses, we know. Let it flow, let it flow.